Hello and welcome to Power and Policy, where we unpack the economic forces shaping our world, often with eyebrows raised in a manner that suggests we're about to uncover something deeply unsettling. Today we're diving headfirst into the fascinating case of Canada, a country often perceived as America's polite, apologetic neighbor. Turns out, beneath that veneer of maple syrup and passive aggression lies an economic engine revving for independence from the US. That's right, folks. Canada's not just playing hockey and stockpiling poutine anymore. They're making some bold moves. Let's explore the 7 seismic shifts transforming Canada's economic future, because frankly, this is more interesting than whatever Elon Musk is tweeting about this week. Now you might be thinking, Canada, breaking free? Didn't they apologize for something recently? And yes, while Canada does have a penchant for saying sorry more often than a Brit who just bumped into you on the tube, they're not backing down this time. You see, it all started with the US deciding to play a little game of economic hardball. The plan, at least in theory, was to impose tariffs on Canadian exports, hoping to squeeze concessions and protect American industries. Think of it as the economic equivalent of an older sibling hiding the TV remote to get their way. Except, in this scenario, Canada didn't just politely ask for the remote back, they went out and built their own damn television network. Instead of caving to pressure, Canada did something quite unexpected. They got to work. And by work I mean they fast-tracked a series of economic initiatives aimed at reducing their reliance on their southern neighbour. Take British Columbia, for example. This province alone, with the enthusiasm of a beaver building a dam, launched 18 infrastructure projects targeting sectors like mining, energy and logistics. It was like someone said, go ahead, impose those tariffs, we'll just be over here building a more resilient economy. For years, Canada's oil and gas sector has been like that friend who relies on you for rides everywhere, even though they have a perfectly good car parked in their garage. They've been sending their oil and gas down to the US for refining and transport. But, thanks to America's unpredictable trade policies, Canada decided it was time to finally get behind the wheel of their own energy future. Enter the East-West pipeline projects. These bad boys are designed to keep Canadian energy flowing within national borders and out to international markets, all without needing to rely on US infrastructure. It's a bold move, akin to your perpetually carpooling friend finally getting their driver's license. And while it might take some getting used to, the long-term benefits are undeniable. Canada's sending a clear message. They're open for business and they're not waiting for permission to export their energy resources. Move over, Texas T. There's a new sheriff in town, and it's holding a fistful of lithium. That's right. While oil and gas may have been the darlings of the past, the future is electric. And Canada is positioning itself to be the world's go-to supplier of critical minerals. Think lithium, copper, cobalt, rare earth elements, all the ingredients needed to power the electric vehicle revolution. And guess what? Canada's got them in spades. We're talking vast reserves just waiting to be tapped into. And with demand for these minerals skyrocketing faster than a Tesla on autopilot, Canada's mining industry is about to experience a boom the likes of which haven't been seen since the Klondike Gold Rush. Only this time, instead of prospectors with pickaxes, it's going to be high-tech mining operations, all vying for a piece of Canada's electric future. Chapter 4, Ports and Logistics. The quiet game changer. While pipelines and mines might grab all the headlines, Canada's been quietly building an ace up its sleeve, its ports. These aren't your grandpa's rusty old docks, mind you. We're talking massive investments in shore power, expanded capacity, and cutting-edge technology. Think of them as the Amazon fulfillment centers of global trade, only with better views. Vancouver and Prince Rupert, in particular, are becoming shining examples of Canada's port prowess. They're strategically located on the Pacific Rim, offering faster shipping times to Asia than any US port can match. And with the Panama Canal expansion allowing for larger vessels, Canada's ports are perfectly positioned to become major hubs for global trade. It's a classic case of playing the long game, and it looks like Canada's strategic investments are about to pay off big time. Now, you might think a country known for its vast oil reserves would be hesitant to embrace renewable energy. But Canada, ever the overachiever, is proving that you can, in fact, teach an old dog new tricks, especially when those tricks involve harnessing the power of the wind and sun. From coast to coast, Canada is investing in wind, solar and hydroelectric projects, particularly in rural and remote regions that need reliable and sustainable power. Think of it as a nationwide game of renewable energy Tetris, with each province trying to fit as many wind turbines and solar panels as possible into their energy mix. It's ambitious, it's necessary, and it's further proof that Canada is playing for the long game, building an economy that's both prosperous and environmentally responsible. Of course, none of these ambitious plans can succeed without a solid foundation. That's why Canada's been pouring billions, and I mean billions with a BU, into upgrading its infrastructure. Think of it as a nationwide extreme makeover. But instead of giving houses a fresh coat of paint, they're overhauling roads, railways and marine routes. Since 2017, over $4.1 billion has been earmarked for these critical upgrades, all aimed at enhancing trade and reducing those pesky logistics bottlenecks that can clog up the arteries of commerce. It's like Canada decided to take its transportation system to the same doctor who treated the Panama Canal, you know, the one who specializes in expansion and efficiency. The message is clear. Canada's open for business, and they're making sure their infrastructure can handle the increased traffic. Perhaps the boldest move in Canada's playbook is its effort to diversify its trade relationships beyond the US. Now, don't get me wrong, the US will always be a key trading partner, like that friend you keep around despite their occasional tendency to eat all your snacks. But Canada's realized that putting all its eggs in one basket, or in this case, one country, is a recipe for economic vulnerability. So, they're branching out, forging new trade agreements with Europe, Asia, and emerging markets. It's like Canada's decided to throw a global dinner party, inviting everyone to the table and not just relying on their neighbour to bring the chips and dip. This diversification strategy is all about reducing risk and creating new opportunities for Canadian businesses. It's a bold move, but then again, Canada's been full of surprises lately. So, there you have it, the 7 seismic shifts transforming Canada's economic future. It's an ambitious plan, there's no doubt about it. But the question remains, is Canada's bold economic shift a stroke of genius or a misguided leap of faith? Is this the dawn of a new era for the Great White North? Or are they aiming for a goal just slightly out of reach, like a moose trying to dunk a basketball? Only time will tell if Canada's gamble pays off. But one thing's for sure, they're not just sitting idly by, content to be America's hat. They're taking charge of their own destiny. And frankly, that's a lesson we could all learn from. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm off to buy stock in maple syrup futures. Something tells me they're about to skyrocket.